Hello my quilting friends, Leah Day here with a new quilting video for our machine quilting block party. Today we're learning how to quilt block number 4 with a little sharp stippling and a little pebbling. So let's jump on the machine and see how this works in free motion. So I'm getting started in the center sun section, and I've already stitched the circle and started bouncing around with these jagged sun rays, and it's just a simple stitch out, come to that point, change direction, and come on back. Now, I was noticing some questions on Facebook this past month about little knots showing up on the back of your quilt, and I call those hesitation knots. And how it happens is you're coming to a point like this and you hesitate, your hands stop moving, but you maybe keep your machine running. Even 1 or 2 stitches like that could be enough to create a little knot on the back of your quilt. So whenever your hands stop, make sure your machine stops. It's just one of those things to focus on. Come to that point and change direction quickly. Or if that's a struggle and your hands kind of aren't cooperating with you quite yet, come to that point and just stop dead. And if you have to, jerk your foot off your foot pedal to exaggerate the movement so that you don't keep on running the machine when your hands aren't moving. Okay, so that's the center stun stitched. At this point I'm going to break thread and then pull up thread right here to start the sharp stippling. So I finished up the sun and already pulled up thread and knocked out a lot of the sharp stippling in the background. And if you want to mark it, it actually forms a really nice flow through the area, always hitting kind of the point right here within the squares and triangles. And that's really nice because if I work my way all the way around, I'll be set up very nicely to begin ditching around that center star. So sharp stippling is just a wiggly design coming to sharp points. I'm just going to wiggle around. And again, watch out for those points. Watch out for those hesitation knots. If you're going to stop your hands, make sure to stop your machine too. So as you flow around, something to think about would be like flame shapes, wiggly flames. If you stitch off the lines, don't worry about it. The lines will be erased and no one will know that you meant to stitch something different. So it's a-okay to stitch off the lines. A lot of times I find myself extending something, making it a little different, kind of adding an extra little flourish here or there, and that's perfectly fine. That's actually what makes your block unique and a little different from everybody else's. So now I am filling in these yellow squares and also the background sections with pebbling, and I have just one more line to fill in this yellow square. So how can I get here? I can either travel stitch in the ditch, which is perfectly fine, or I know I'm filling pebbling into this area, so why don't I just go on ahead and stitch maybe a half circle shape and reach that line. So you can definitely use pebbling to reach places, to avoid stitching in the ditch, to hit lines that you would otherwise have to travel stitch in order to hit. So you can see that I have also changed thread colors, and I did all of my ditching in this pumpkin thread color, and that's just simply because I know I'm going to be travel stitching against it a lot as I stitch pebbling into this area. So now I'm going to start filling in the background, and I'm aiming for pretty large circular shapes. I want these to be fairly large, at least, half of an inch to 1 inch, with occasional small circles like this mixed in to fill in the space. And I want them that big because I want the quilt to remain soft. Pebbling is one of those designs that's really easy to get dense and intense on your quilt, and that will make it stiff. So by trying to keep the pebbles as big as possible, we're going to keep the quilt as soft as possible. So you can see when I have to, I'll quilt some small circles, but as soon as I have a bigger space, a bigger opening, I'll go on ahead and swing around and fill it in with as big a circle as I can fit into the space. Now, how do I know how big I can fill, and how do I kind of space this out and look at it? Well, a lot of times when I'm quilting, I'm kind of visualizing the center point. So if I visualize the center point about right here, then I know I need to swing out and around all the way around that. So it might help to pick up a marking pencil and mark some center points as you go. And you can see I swung out quite a bit bigger than I meant to, but that's okay. A bigger circle is better than a smaller circle. It might help to mark the design using our design template within the pattern. So you have all the lines marked completely if you're totally new to pebbling. But if you're really wanting to master the design freehand, that's quilting without marks, then try picking up your pencil and just marking the center point. So let me give you another example here. I know that the circle needs to fill in that area nicely, and the center would be about right there. So now I'm going to try and just keep that point in the center as I swing around with my circle. And that's really the trick that I use for all circles, whether they're pebbling like this or I call it chain of pearls when they're circles all stitched in a straight line or a curvy line. It always works the same. I always visualize that center point and swing around it. Now you'll notice that I do have to stitch some small circles occasionally. Sometimes I'll just stitch a half circle shape. That allows me to break up the space just a little bit less, keep things nice and big. But again, as soon as you have space, make your pebbles, make your circles as big as they will fit on the quilt. Another nice way to avoid travel stitching is to go on ahead and pop into the border design, the flame border design that we use out here. So as I fill in this last little bit, I've already ditched along this outer line. I can use the flames to get back out of this area. Just a few more small circles. And now I'm going to go into my flames. Connect with this dot and just stitch my wiggly flame shape from dot to dot until I reach that next open patch that I need to fill in with more pebbling. So one thing I like to do is just go on ahead and stitch past it. That's just fine. And then as I'm filling this, I'm going to concentrate on kind of filling my way through and then kind of back to this spot. So I'll do all my travel stitching within the design. Kind of fit in an oval right here. Travel up and around. And I'm right back to where I started. Can get back to the flames. So that's it for block number 4. I really hope that you enjoyed quilting this along with me. If you're just getting started with the machine quilting block party, click right here to find all of the patterns at leahday.com. Until next time, let's go quilt.